Hey guys, it's Michelle, and I'm here to talk about the 3 critical components of success that most people are leaving off the table. How it's not all about strategies and systems, although those are important, and although that's exactly sort of what I'm giving away right now. So this training is a little bit of a fun thing for me. I'm kind of dancing on the edge, and I know what I'm doing, and I'm excited to do it because I'm often quoted as saying you want to sell people what they want to buy, but you always do want to give them what they really need to reach kind of the spirit of the agreement or the spirit of the promise that you made them. And this is one of those times, right? I'm getting ready to start dropping the manual, which is what we're now calling it in the Women Who Wow world. It's called the Women Who Wow Way, the manual. And it is a collection of strategies and how-tos and templates and all of these different things that you are going to need to create success on your own terms. And I am going to go over a few of the strategies that we're including in the manual, and you can actually find a list down below. So I'm very excited to have you guys here. We are going to play a little game of Never Have I Ever, right? Back from our college years. And so I want you guys to get prepared for that. I'm going to try to share this. And if you guys know women entrepreneurs who should be watching this training, getting to the deeper and more concrete, more foundational pillars of success, please share this video so that your friends can watch this as well. I'm going to do the same if I can, although sometimes it doesn't let me share my own video. So I'm going to go ahead and try to make that happen. We're going to have some real talk. We're going to have some fun, play that little drinking game today in the mid-afternoon. And then we are going to also learn some stuff. And I think it's actually going to be more of a reminder for you guys of what success really is going to require for you. These are things that we often sort of allow to fall off of our radar because we're so busy with the strategies and the systems. So you guys go ahead and share this, and I will do the same so that we make sure that there's no woman entrepreneur that will be left behind. So I want to, it's already shared. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and get started. So as I said before, I'm getting ready to release the manual, the Women Who Wow Way, the manual. It's a collection of strategies, templates, and how-tos. And I'm actually going to share a little bit more about what's in that in a few minutes. And people are getting super excited about the manual. And frankly, I'm getting really excited about the manual, despite me, though, being someone who, frankly, even 2 years ago, I would have thought, like, I have no systems in my business, not deliberately, right? Or I don't really have strategies. I kind of look to the market, do the opposite of what I see other people doing. Like, that's kind of been my strategy all along. But I realized that despite my approach to life in general, because I am such a creature of habit, I actually have quite a few things that I do repetitively for dependable results, and some templates that I use all the time in the exact same way to get, results that I can depend on. So I am going to reveal all that, but systems and strategies are only a portion of it. They do make things easier and faster when they're built on principles versus bright, shiny objects, right? There's a lot of people selling strategies and systems on bright, shiny objects that frankly aren't going to be around a year and a half from now. I use the same systems and the same strategies to grow my business today that I did in 1999, that I did in 2000, that I did in 2003, right? Because they're built on principles. So I don't have to constantly reinvent the wheel when a new platform comes up that gets all the attention and then goes away, right? That's just not my style. I like to do things that are absolutely dependable and, something that I can build my life around and not have to constantly reinvent. So I want to release kind of the foundational stuff today because I am getting ready to release all of the manual, right, with all of my templates and my swipeable stuff. I want to talk more about some of the the container really of success that we have or don't have in our businesses. And this is the stuff that is going to fuel your success for the long haul and in a way that makes sense for you, right? Because the truth is, none of us really want to trade our lives for our livelihood, right? We don't want to build a success that we don't like. We don't want to be, as Dan Kennedy said, ankle chained to a success that we resent. And I have definitely been there. I have definitely been in a place where I didn't like the success I created. And I can tell you that on the backside of that, you get a little success averse, right? Because you feel like you want the fixings of success, I guess. You want the money and, the accolades and stuff like that, but you don't want that lifestyle that you had that led to that success before. So what we're going to cover today is really the foundational stuff, and you can grab hold of it immediately, right? You can absolutely grab hold of it immediately. I promise in this training to pull no punches and to make this uber valuable for you. In fact, I want to borrow something that I saw somebody do recently, and that is, if as you hear ideas, principles, or aha moments that are going to make you more money, I encourage you to put like a dollar sign or a dollar emoji in the comments. But before we get there, I am going to play a little drinking game with you, right? And that is, and I get it, it's like Monday afternoon, but I want to play a little Never Have I Ever with you. I've never done something like this on a live stream, but I want you to assume that you're going to take a shot for every time you've done one of these things, right? So I want you to put a little drinking emoji, I don't care what you're drinking, but a little drinking emoji in the comments for each and every one of these things that you have done. So, and actually, give me a thumbs up if you have played Never Have I Ever, right? I remember playing this in college, Never Have I Ever, blankety blank blank, and if you drink, it means you actually have done that. Same concept here. So, never have I ever woken up in a cold sweat over a bill that I couldn't pay or didn't know how I was going to pay, right? Never have I ever. So if that is you, put a drinking emoji in the comments. Never have I ever had to say no to something and give some other reason because I was ashamed or embarrassed to say I couldn't do it because I didn't have the money. Now remember, you're drinking if these things are true, right? If these things are true, that in other words, you have done these things. Never have I ever pretended, maybe even to myself, that I didn't want something because I knew that I couldn't afford it. Never have I ever been totally lost as to where the next money that I needed to pay my bills was going to come from. Never have I ever felt overwhelmed with the need for more money when I was already working way too much and I felt stuck because more money would require more work and more time. And yet I was in this horrible place, right? I needed more money, but I didn't know where I'd find the time to work. But you know what? In those moments, tell me if you have never have I ever agreed. Just, I'm going to keep working. I don't know how I'm going to not sleep, but I'm going to get it done because I need to do it for the money, right? Tons of us. Never have I ever felt resentment towards people who had more money, especially when I felt like they weren't working as hard as I was. Never have I ever done everything I've been told to do and felt like the only person it wasn't working for. Right? I've definitely been there. Never have I ever felt stymied about success, wondering if it's possible for me because of where I live or where I work or what industry I'm in or where I started or at these age or whatever. Give me a drink emoji if you've ever felt like you're just stymied about success and it is, maybe you're thinking it worked for her, but because of XYZ, it won't work for me. Quick tip. Working hard is only going to get you so far, right? Working hard is only going to get you so far. There are a ton of hard workers who are not making any money, right? It's a true fact. They're not making hardly any money. And work ethic is huge. I am not going to ever preach against work ethic. But it is not what separates the huge earners from those who barely make a living or barely eke by every month, right? If that were the case, I'll be honest with you, I will stack my work ethic up against anybody's work ethic. And so if it were just work ethic, I would have been wildly wealthy long time ago, right? There is more. All right, I'm going to get off the never have I ever game. I appreciate you guys playing along. You might want to tell me how drunk you would be if you were really taking shots every time that you agreed with one of those statements, right? And if you were drinking and you're not a Women Who Wow member, today and tomorrow are the very last days for you to join and still have one-on-one time with me, right? This is one of the main benefits of Women Who Wow. It's always been a bonus benefit, and it has to go away because we continue to grow. So today and tomorrow, very last days for you to join Women Who Wow and have twice a month one-on-one time with me. Literally the last days that allow you and I to plot and plan and dream and scheme together about your business. Nobody else listening in, no group coaching, although we do have group coaching, but I'm specifically talking about one-on-one. So if you've been wondering about Women Who Wow, message me, m.me/Women Who Wow, and let me know what questions you have, or just tell me about your business, and I can put you in touch with a member who's maybe in your area of the country or in the world, or in your industry or something like that. So you guys let me know what you need from me to make a decision on Women Who Wow, and we will make that happen today or tomorrow. All right. So the three most critical success components that strategies and systems cannot provide, right? Now, to be honest, like strategies and systems, strategies are what I view as like step-by-step recipes for a particular result. Things like, and I want to list these out, how to make your lurkers lucrative, right? We all have lurkers on social media, people who are watching, they're just not buying, people who are clicking or liking, but they're not like responding to sales messages. So how to make your lurkers lucrative. How to get your email list to actually do something and buy something, how to journal to cement a new normal, right? Even if you have like extraordinary success, it'll always be a one-off, like a one-hit wonder if you don't incorporate it as a new level of normal. How to identify and shift fears that are holding you back from ultimate success, how to discover the nuances of your genius. In other words, what people can only get from you by going to you, right? These are important things to know. So how to create pattern interrupts in your market so people sit up, take notice, and listen. These are all strategies. How to nurture your true fans, how to go from idea to income in one day, like we did with our Project 10K, right? So idea to $10,000 in a day. How to get out of a sales funk fast. The truth is, we all, from time to time, get into a sales funk. Sometimes it's on the back end of a particularly prosperous time in your business, and we just get lazy with it. And then all of a sudden we feel like weird selling again. And sometimes it's on the back of a particularly scary season in your business, and you're not sure how you're going to get out of that. So there are strategies for this, like recipe kind of step by step. And they're all included, all of the ones I just mentioned, as well as like a ton of others in what we are now calling the manual. They're step-by-step how-to recipes for a specific result. So if you heard one of those and you're like, I got to get my hands on that, put it in the comments below, and I'll be sure to reach out to you and get that to you. But systems are a little bit more involved than strategies. They're more like how various strategies are being applied together, usually automatically or kind of with a hands-off approach. Systems are sort of something that is put in place that keeps happening. And so I have 7 specific systems at play within the world of Women Who Wow every single day. And I have a full 7-part training on that, on each of these systems. And if you want it, let me know. But these things are, systems are great to have in your business. And they actually take a lot of the pressure and the, got to show up and got to be working all the time. It takes a lot of that off of you. And systems and strategies, frankly, this is what people want to buy. This is what people want to buy. And I can't blame them or you. It's what I wanted to buy, right? I remember even I hired a really, really, high dollar, high value coach. And I remember saying like, look, man, I'm not interested in my journey. Like, tell me what you did. I'll do that. Right. Like, I just wanted this strategy. And the truth is at that time, I didn't care so much how I created success as long as I got there. Right. And so, and he would wisely steer me more to my own answer, but I would get frustrated with that. And I would say, listen, like, no, you did it. Tell me how you did it. I'll do it like that. Like, give me the recipe and I'll gut it out, right? And so I get that this is what people want to buy. And certainly, like, if you want these strategies and the Women Who Wow Way manual, certainly message me, put a comment in below, whatever, but they're not all that matters. And so in addition to systems and strategies, here are the 3 critical parts that you've got to consider. And this is not just for like long-term success or eventual peace and prosperity. It's not that. It's also just for your immediate success, right? So these are things that I really want you to consider. The first is your setting. In other words, what conditions are these systems and strategies being deployed in? I'm all about swiping and deploying strategies. No problems there. But I want to know in what conditions, what setting are these strategies being deployed in? So your setting is akin, you can think of it like greenhouse, right? Like a greenhouse for success. How much time are you able to give these strategies? In what temperature environment? What protections or barriers have you created for your business? The setting in the early days of my business were very different than the setting is today. I started my business with a $50 investment, right? And I had babies. I didn't even have all of my babies, right? My babies, my oldest will be 21 tomorrow, and then I have an almost 19-year-old and a 17-year-old. And so back then, it's like my business was built very fast in like 15-minute little increments, and it was extremely rare for me to even have like a full hour and a half to work uninterrupted because the kids always nap, but my granddad would come by. It was a totally different environment. So I want you to consider not just strategies and systems, but the setting that you have. So do you have a greenhouse for success in your business, right? An environment, a schedule that is conducive to greatness for you. The setting is different for everybody. The same way, like if I had a greenhouse, I couldn't just have one greenhouse, say, for palm trees, and then something that needed an entirely different, environment to thrive. And so each of us are going to require something different. I have friends who greatly love the like busyness and the ho hum of a Starbucks or a coffee shop, and I actually really love silence, right? And so everybody's is different. But when you consider your own container for success, one, do you have one? Have you given any thought to how and where you're building your business, right? So with regards to setting, I want you to consider the container, like a greenhouse. So do you have a container for your work? A lot of women work way too many hours because we're fitting work around everything else, if that makes sense, right? So there is no container for our life or our fitness or our marriage, and there's no container for our work and our clients and our prospects. It's just like one big thing. And I'm not so big on, I definitely don't believe in like balance or juggling or any of that. I believe in doing everything according to priority. And I actually have created a world where I kind of get paid to just show up as myself, right? And that's a good thing, but I still have a container. So like my family time, you're not getting into ever. It doesn't matter. There are no real emergencies in this business. You're not breaking into my family time. You're not breaking into my date time. And the same way, I have roped off time that is always time that I am building my business. So when I consider my own greenhouse, I have cultivated it to where I thrive and my message thrives. So for you, consider the container that you've built for your business. Consider everything regarding location, right? Like how can you make your location more inspiring? How can you make it less distracting or have less distractions? How about your hours, the environment? What keeps your best work thriving? A container that keeps your best work and your best self protected from the elements of busyness, chaos, and distraction. That is critical, and very few people talk about this with regards to success. And I get that it's not sexy. Totally get that it's not sexy, but it does matter. Valerie says, it used to be true for me, but I learned how to prioritize and set boundaries. Absolutely critical and huge. What would your business look like? And this is not just for Valerie. This is for everybody. What would your business look like if you took even 2 hours a day, and worked in a greenhouse-like setting, one that protected against distraction, one that was absent emotional chaos, and one that fostered creativity and the best of you. What would your business look like in 2 hours a day? What if you only had 1 hour a day, right? I remember a friend of mine who, it's so sad because she actually killed herself, and I was in Florida getting ready to take the stage at an event, my own event. And, there's no one to take my place, right? And I got a text. I looked down and I saw a text that she had killed herself. But she was one of the first people to ever comment on my blog, and we were very close. And but she used to say, I'd say, hey, can I help you, getting groceries or whatever, after she had become a mom. And she's like, no, I've got mommy arms, right? I've got mommy arms. And I think as women, a lot of times we can do a lot in a very little time, especially if we're mothers, right? We kind of have that ability to get a lot of stuff done in a little bit of time. Certainly Women Who Wow members definitely fall into that place. Now, we might not say it because it looks like we are maybe too high on ourselves or whatever, but we know we can get a lot done in a little bit of time compared to the rest of the world, right? Let's just accept it. But we also want to embrace it and deploy it. And if you had even 1 hour a day that was absolutely in the ideal greenhouse for your success, how would things change for you? The truth is, our days get away from us a lot of the time, whether it be through emotional stuff or distraction or not having boundaries, because even working with our clients can hold our business back from growing. I know this because I stayed there a long time. I didn't have a setting for my success. I had a setting that fostered my client's success, right? And my business, frankly, was being left behind because I didn't have this container. So what would your business look like if you had even 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day that was in that greenhouse-like setting? No distractions, no emotional chaos, where you have removed the emotion, you've done the work. A lot of the things that I do in my business day and actually weave throughout Women Who Wow is deliberately creating a setting for success. So my access system, who has access to me and when, very deliberate. Like the temperature in a greenhouse. My physical work environment, very deliberate. The practice that I have for removing the emotion and doing the work, right? I have my own junk like everybody else, my own heartaches, my own struggles, right? I have my own stuff, and yet I still get the stuff done because I have a habit, a practice that I've honed of removing the emotion and doing the work. I want to tell you something about emotions running the show. Emotions running the show is akin to a greenhouse that is allowing mold to thrive, right? It's going to take over. It's going to impact the health of everything else, right? And business is a pretty logical process. It's a pretty logical process, and we need to remove the burden and the emotion and all that stuff and just do the work we know we're due to, say what we need to say, let the message be the message. And if we just do that consistently and don't let our emotions run amok, telling us what to do and what we feel like doing and only showing up when we feel inspired and all of that, guys, your business will immediately take off just for that. So setting is absolutely huge. And mindset, intention, expectation, what do you really expect to happen, right? A lot of times we will go into a launch, we'll go into selling something, and the truth is, in our hearts, we're kind of expecting to be ignored. We're expecting people to not pay right away. We're expecting people to drag their feet, right? And so this kind of stuff, mindset, intention, expectation, are huge parts of that. And these are the things that we deal with in Women Who Wow with the Entrepreneurial Espresso every single morning. I want to move on to number 2. So we talked about setting. I want to talk about the scenery. This is huge, and some people are going to be mad at me for mentioning this, and it's okay. The madder you get at me for mentioning what I'm getting ready to say, the more important this is for you to look at. I know that because I have been here, right? So the scenery of your business. What do you see in your business? Because let me tell you something. This is rarely challenged, what we see. We don't even think about it, right? In fact, I talk about, here I go again, the treadmill of business, right? The treadmill of business, people on the treadmill of business cheering each other on loudly, nominating each other for their awards, right? And they're shouting "atta girls," and nobody notices that they've not gone anywhere. Nobody notices that they're still in the treadmill of business. Nobody notices that 4 years later, they've not made a big increase in their business. Nobody notices that the scenery never changes, right? Nobody notices that. I don't get it. They don't notice that the scenery hasn't changed even one time. I can tell you, people stay on the treadmill of business for freaking years. And that's a F-O-R, 4 freaking years. More than F-O-U-R years, right? They will stay on there for a long time, and they never realize because they're all listening to each other. It's like an echo chamber of Attagirls. And it's like, wait a minute, man. Are you still struggling in the exact same way in your business today that you were struggling 4 years ago or 8 years ago, right? If that's the case, you're on the treadmill, you're hustling and you're putting in all the effort, but you're not getting anywhere. We need to fix that, right? So they don't outgrow anyone. If you're on the treadmill and the scenery never changes, they don't outgrow anybody in the room because nobody's moving, right? So what about your scenery? What about your scenery? What do you see in your business? I have some questions for you. Do you see people in your immediate circle that inspire you, right? Give me some like love hearts or a comment or something. Do you see people that you have regular contact with in the real world, like even if it's social media, but you have actual one-on-one contact with? Do you see people that inspire you, right? Or is your immediate circle filled with people struggling, and the only inspirations that all of you guys have are people you see in magazines or you're reading their book or whatever? Do you have people in your immediate circle that are inspiring you? I can tell you, Women Who Wow is full of regular women, average women, right? But we're retiring our husbands. We're traveling without restraint. Not me, because I don't like to travel, but we're paying off our kids' college tuition. We're crossing the 6-figure mark early. Many of us are approaching the 7-figure mark. We're getting business laws passed and signed by the President of the United States. We're writing books that are bestsellers. We are flying to New York City often to be interviewed by the media, right? These are regular people. Nobodies, right? Like me and you. And this is something I love that because I want not only my people to be inspired by me, but I want to be inspired by my people. I want to look around my immediate circle and be like, yeah, man, we're going places. Our scenery is constantly changing. We are not doing the loser's limp over and over and over again around a track that never changes. We're going places. So in your immediate circle, you have people that truly inspire you to be better, to do your best, right? Lisa says she doesn't want to be in the same spot. She wants to be growing at all times. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want you to consider how your scenery affects you, right? How your scenery affects you. It's easy to feel virginal when you're hanging around around a lot of hookers, right? Like this is something that we want to make sure that we're aware of. We want to be, we don't want to be seen as a success only in comparison to other people who are losing, right? So consider how your scenery affects you. It's easy to feel successful when you're surrounded by people who are simply playing business, right? They're not in it to win it. They're just kind of playing around, right? 4 times a year, the most uncomfortable thing I do is I put myself in a room where I am the teeniest of tiniest small fries in the room, right? And I want to cancel every time, mind you. I want to cancel every time. I do this deliberately because it grows me. It changes my scenery. It changes what I know is possible. But some people are very, very content to be a decent sized fish in a teeny tiny local pond. That's not me. And that's not you. Right? If that were you, you'd be listening to somebody else by now, right? And so the scenery really matters. I want you to kind of consider the people in your scenery. Although that's not the only part, I want to start there. Do the people that you are surrounding yourself with in business, do they inspire you to do more, be more, or do they make you feel better and more comfortable? Not doing all you can do? Are they excusing your lack of success? Are they making you feel better about sloth, or are they pushing you out of your comfort zone? Do they challenge you and push you, or do they welcome you as a partner to chill with, right? Are they encouraging you to like take it easy? Are they making you feel better about things that you probably should not feel that great about and change? Are they helping you accept mediocrity as like what? Your destiny? Come on, man. No, I want you to think about the people. Are they inspiring to you? Your immediate circle. I also want you to consider the backdrop when you're thinking about the scenery. So we talked about the setting and we talk about the scenery. So in the scenery, I want you to think about the backdrop as well. Is it the scenery that you would choose for your life, for your business? Or are you working in a way that you hate, right? When I was it looked like I was a lot more successful all of a sudden. And in truth, when I looked at my numbers, I was making a little bit less money, but that's not the way the world would have seen it, right? And so, but the truth is, the backdrop of my success at that time was not something I would choose. It was too much travel. It was too fast a pace. It was hard to keep up with. I didn't desire to keep up with it. And so when I ask you, like, look at the scenery in your business and in your life, is it the scenery that you would choose? Or are you working in a way that goes against your grain and is hard for you to maintain and simply that you hate? So my backdrop is stillness and solitude, right? I mean, yours might be plains and palm trees, whatever it is, to each their own. But I just want you to be deliberate about choosing the scenery because it matters, right? Your scenery, your people, your backdrop, they're either inspiring you or they are allowing you to really accept mediocrity and to just kind of accept that maybe this is where you're going to stay and making you feel great about it, or actually making you feel not as bad about it. So the third critical piece is your stride, right? Your stride. So your scenery, your, what's the other one? I just already forgot. The setting, and then your stride. So this is about your pace, right? Do you have sort of a race time goal, but a snail-like pace? And do you have a millionaire goal with an hourly work ethic? You know, these are things to consider. Your stride. Are you moving at the same pace, the same stride as those around you? The truth is, most people fit into that mediocre masses kind of thing, right? Like most people don't stand out because their stride is the same as everybody else's, and they want to fit in actually, but like they don't, their pace keeps them moving with the mediocre masses, right? And so when you think about your own stride, are you moving using the same stride as everybody around you? Because that is a danger if you've not chosen the people of your scenery wisely. Now, if you've chosen the people wisely and you guys are all in a full out stride, in your own stride, and you're cheering each other on, and the scenery is constantly changing and there's no treadmill of business, the stride of keeping up with the people next to you works for you. But if you've not chosen deliberately and you're around people who don't inspire you or challenge you, but they make you feel comfortable, your stride is going to work against you. It's going to not grow you. It's not going to push you, and you're not going to get where you could go when you need to be there in order to capitalize and leverage, right? So I want to give you a quick hint. You know, even mountains can be walked or run over. They don't need to disappear completely. And so you need a tribe that helps you keep your stride, your unique stride going, regardless of the circumstances, right? So I want to ask you about your pace. Like, one, are you setting it or is somebody else? Are you not challenged by your stride, how fast you're moving, how fast you're putting stuff out? Because frankly, nobody around you is doing much of anything either. Is your stride confident and determined, or is it frantic and varied? Like, I will never forget, I'm an ID addict, right? So I watch the Investigative Discovery Channel, and you guys can put some emoji down if that's you too. You can identify yourself. But one of the saddest ones that I'll never forget is a girl, and she had her little, she had her phone on, and it had kind of like one of those apps that tracks your steps or whatever. And she was being chased, and when they recovered her phone, they saw that she had like started running kind of frantically, right? And it was like she didn't know which way to turn, and she ran back and forth, and I'll never forget that. But I thought of that this morning, because when you have a goal that you're going after, it's important that your stride is confident and determined and in one direction, right? I can tell you that I've wasted years, I guess, of my business kind of running in varied directions and at different paces. I never really found my stride. I was just kind of, trying to keep up sometimes, trying to speed up sometimes, trying to take it easy sometimes, but never really hitting a stride that I could maintain. And so, you need to ask yourself, really, are you running towards the goal? Like, you know where it is and you know you can make it, right? That you know where you're heading and you know that you can make it. That's going to be a confident and determined stride. But if you know where it is, but you really doubt that you can make it, your stride's going to be off and off kilter, and sometimes good and sometimes not so good, and whatever, right? Or are you continuing to meander, changing directions each time something new or cool pops up, or each time you hit an obstacle? Mountains can be walked over. You don't need to wait for that mountain to move, right? So your stride, how is it? Is it one that makes you proud and inspires others? Or are you fitting in with the mediocre masses and just doing whatever they do and picking their stride? One of the benefits of Women Who Wow that people mention most often is that I change their pace, right? I change their pace. They do more of what matters more consistently, and they do way less of what doesn't matter and doesn't move the needle. So their pace quickens, but their life slows down, right? This is a win-win, because we're not interested in success at any cost, right? We are interested in success on our own terms. So there you have it. Don't ignore the setting, the scenery, and the stride, okay? All of this is foundational. And when you have those things all ready to go, and then you put the strategies and the systems on top of that, that is a winning combination, right? That's perfect for financial success on your own terms, the way you want to make it happen. But if you are just doing the strategies and success, you're going to get some of the results, certainly, but you are not going to get there as fast or in a way that is as sustainable as it could be if you had all these things at play. So anyway, that's all I have for you now, Lisa. I think I'm in the same spot. Need to get moving. Join Women Who Wow, Lisa. Message me about that for sure. You're welcome for pushing out of your comfort zone. I love our game of Never Have I Ever. I like playing that. I always like that game, actually. Cool tip or cool thing about me, I would often play drinking games in college, and I would drink water. So I always won. And I didn't even think about that, to be honest with you. And it wasn't a moral code or whatever that I chose at that time. It was a mainly like a caloric decision I made. Most drinking took place at night, and I felt like that was against my, what I wanted health-wise. And so I would drink water, and people never challenged it, actually. It wasn't like I pretended it was anything else either. So I often played Never Have I Ever or any other drinking game with water. My husband jokes me about it to this day. All right, guys, well, if you don't have any questions for me, I'm going to hop off. I have a Project 10K training coming up at 2 p.m. But until then, I'm going to be messaging you guys back. I see a few messages came in. So message me about Women Who Wow, m.me/Women Who Wow. I would love to welcome you as a member in the next 2 days, because after that, the one-on-one benefit goes away for anybody joining after that. So talk with you guys soon, and thank you so much for being here. Bye.